Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bear Pen. I am Adrian, or Aries, and I'm the storyteller here for Blood on the Bayou, episode 7 of Book 2, which we are calling Reflections. And last week we had a bit of snow trouble, and we are back today in full force and real happy. And yeah, we have a bunch of good stuff for everyone today, and maybe a few announcements as well. So we're going to go ahead and jump into saying hello to our amazing players. And why don't we start with Kira?
I was not ready. He wasn't ready. So hi, I'm Kara858, and of course I'm playing the lovable Sweet Bean, who is also a Baron, Sora, and now have two sets of memories, and slowly try to figure out which one is which. As for yours truly, we have plenty of projects coming up. This Wednesday, we have our first episode of Gods of Color coming out on twitch.tv/Kara858, where you'll see individuals such as Cynthia Marie, Melee Damage, yours truly, Brandy Rose, Glyza and Ree. It's going to be a great show. I am the DM, and I am super excited, looking forward to this aspect. And there, of course, going to be announcements with that. Lords of Fame Room will be coming back next week. Boss Beyond Time will be coming back out in 2 weeks, as well as Riverwood Academy. The Cookout TTRPGs will start off February with a lot of content. So be prepared. We're going to become the new Netflix of TTRPGs, perhaps. We'll see. So with that said, definitely go ahead and keep an eye out for all of our content on our Twitter at the Cookout TTRPGs, where you find not just that, but also giveaways from Die Hard Dice and more. And yeah, that's yours truly.
All right. Why don't we go ahead and jump on to Michael?
Hi, I'm Mike, or known as at Sir Monolith on Twitter. It's pretty much the only place I've been pseudo active lately. Other than that, I play here on the Bear Pen and some other places. I've got a new schedule now that's going to allow me to actually be able to participate in more TTRPG content. So I'm looking forward to finding some more things to get involved in. And so it's going to be a fun year to look forward to. And I'm just looking forward to getting back into this Bayou game because it's been a little while.
For sure, it has indeed. All right, why don't we pop on over to Ari?
Hi everyone, I'm Ari. I play Elijah Smith over here, but on Kira's The Cookout TTRPG, in the Rivenwood campaign, I play Yvain. So go check that out over on YouTube. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it is Small Shadow Snacks, which is just possums. It's possums.
Next on up, why don't we say hello to Cassidy?
Hello, I'm Cassidy B. You can find me at Twitter at awkwardcassidy_. You can also now find Sakura on Twitter at SakuraAmiVTM. Keep an eye on both of those Twitters for interesting stuff coming up. And I didn't break anything. There are no consequences. It's fine.
Everything's fine. Next, we're going to pop over to Alex.
Hey everybody, I am Alex Hillman. I'm a partner here at the Bear Pen, and I am also a brand manager for Hunters Entertainment, so that's probably where you know me from. On this show, I play Nicolai Dietrich, who has been kind of off skulking about in the shadows, working on some major personal projects while everybody else has been getting up to, we'll just call it shenanigans. Yeah, we'll call it shenanigans. That sounds about right. So I'm looking forward to getting back into the flow of things here. It'll be pretty fun tonight.
And Alex, do you have an announcement for us about our channel? Something that you may or may not.
I guess I could go ahead and announce that. So for folks who are interested in seeing some new content rolling out on the Bear Pen, this Wednesday actually, we're going to be kicking off a new mini-series, which, who knows, it might grow into something more than that, but it's a mini-series planned for now that's going to feature a few folks from around the Bear Pen that you might recognize, as well as a few new faces, and that's going to be a Fallout 2D20 RPG campaign that is going to be taking place in the Midwest, kind of in between Fallout 2 and Fallout 3, if you're familiar with the games and the timeline. So, in between those ones and the branch between the Interplay world and the Bethesda world. So, that should be pretty fun, and I hope you come and hang out with us and check it out.
Gonna be fun on the bun. And next up, Gliza.
Hello, hello. I'm Gliza. I am a person with many hats. I am a podcast host. I am a writer. I'm a tabletop role play performer. I'm also recently a Twitch affiliate. So I have a lot of stuff to do. Like I said, I'm a podcast host. I have two that I'm working on: Classical Adventures for One, and then Chewing Gum for the Brain. Classical Adventures for One is a podcast about classic books, while Chewing Gum for the Brain is a podcast about reality TV. Both serve very different purposes, but I hope they're fun either way. I'm a writer. I'm working on an audio drama called Nightmare Hunt, where nightmares come to life and humans have to deal with the fallout for that. I'm also a manga reviewer on the Geekly Grind. Today, though, I am wearing my tabletop roleplay performer hat. You might know me as Sloon from Lords of Faerun, Mikaela here on Blood on the Bayou, Richard Ambrosia Cersei at Lost Across the Fence, Fior at Avatar Reclamation, Darlet, Somehow Human, Cynthia Baya, back when Mekong Delta Blues was a thing, Alicia Lionor, which you will meet on Wednesday at Gods of Color, a couple of other things. The one I'm looking forward to currently right now is being Eurydice, Heart for Soul, which is it's a one shot where we're going to be retelling the story of Orpheus and Eurydice in a modern setting. I also mentioned that I am a Twitch affiliate, so every Tuesdays and Thursdays I am on Twitch, where I just stream games, where the only rule is it has to have a romance element. If it anything, as long as it has a romance element, I've actually told people to find me a horror game that has a romance element. Even though I hate horror, I will play that game. I'm also reading books during book club time on Tuesdays, where I will be just reading. Right now, I'm going to go through all of the Discworld books, which is a lot. It's a lot of books, but that's what book club is for. On Monday, I'm going to be on twitch.tv chatterbox AVA for Somehow Human, where I'll be playing Darla, the Tainted. If you guys are, that's the latest thing that's going to come tomorrow. So I think, so I'll be playing Mikaela. Hi. The obvious Toreador, no other Toreador, but that, I don't know. Fuck. I mean, what? I didn't say anything. It's your turn now. Take it away from me because I've said so much.
It's all good. It's all good. Horror games that you can romance. I mean, you can play the Resident Evil, I think, 2 remake, and you can Pervin Carlos because that's the only reason to play that game. That's.
I need to be actively romancing a character for
I mean,
it
you
to
can
count.
romance him when you look at him from behind, but that's just Adrian speaking here.
I've heard of Doki Doki Literature Club, and I've already played, so I'm not gonna play it again. Sorry, it has to be new games.
So, myself, I am Adrian Bear or Aries, and you can find me here on the Bear Pen, where I'm a storyteller, and you can also find me on the Cookout, where I play Jesse Diaz, where I'm super happy that we're going to be coming back, and another character on one of those shows, which is going to be coming up sometime. And as for us here in the Bear Pen, we do have a whole bunch of really cool new content coming out. Our D&D show, Thala Unbound, should be officially starting in February. Hopefully, it will be the second Friday of February at 7 p.m., which is going to be awesome. Just waiting for one more piece of artwork, and then we are good to go on that. Also, we are announcing a very special project which will air in April, which is called Faerun's Next Top Patron, which will be a show which is essentially a reality TV bachelorette bachelor style D&D show in which a brand new warlock patron will put 4 potential patrons through their paces to determine which of them claims her heart and soul, and it is going to be a lot of fun. We have Eliza Pearl joining us for that, along with Ree and Ursa Ringer and some other folks that are going to be joining us. Should be a lot of fun. But that is coming up on the Bear Pen. Now, time for a little bit of a intro before we dive into our full episode here. When we look at ourselves in the mirror, it is the only chance we really get to see ourselves from another perspective. But is that reflection who we truly are? Or are we simply the images and ideas that others have of us in their mind that view us on a day-to-day and nightly basis? And if that core of ourselves does exist, what does that mean over the course of centuries? Would like to keep that in mind as we dive into today's episode of Blood on the Bayou. A few nights ago, Sakura and Elijah and Sora had all gathered together in order for Sakura to attempt to re-wake her adopted child, Ricky. The ramifications of this are yet to be fully understood, with Sora being the only person who seems to retain memories of both timelines. However, we jump back to the night of the event which was held at Nirvana for a conversation between Nicolai and Jezebel, the Tremere. After leading Jezebel out of Nirvana, you make your way down into the Regency Hyatt to perhaps one of the quieter bars on the first floor and find yourself a corner booth in which you can be relatively certain that you will not be overheard too much and might be alone.
Nicolai will motion for Jezebel to sit politely as he steps over to the other side of the table and takes a seat.
Jezebel takes a seat, and for possibly the first time that you have seen her, she is unusually or uncharacteristically quiet for a short amount of time. And you can see that she seems to be fidgeting a bit and or perhaps struggling to find the words that she would like to say, which is very unusual for our talkative Tremere from the valley. So, like, so I don't really know how to say this, but like I said, I kind of need your help to kind of cash in on that favor. And you can see that Jezebel is looking around the room on occasion, which is, again, unusual for her. So, I may or may not, I mean, like, probably definitely may have been discovered that I have been dead for like 40 years by the Second Inquisition.
That is indeed a problem. One that I could likely remedy for you.
I mean, like, I've heard like the stories and stuff, but I don't like, does it really hurt a lot? Or is it kind of like, I mean, can you do it where it's like not painful or
It tends to be less painful with a willing subject. Of course, our talents aren't always applied to those who are willing. But
I
in
mean,
this
like,
instance, I think it should be fine. And I would say that beyond that, I can go even a step further for you. I have talents and connections that might prove useful in this type of situation. Handling all the petty paperwork that the kind busy themselves with. Needless to say, with the individuals in my stead, I can get you a identity that's generally ironclad.
is this like still within the scope of our like major boon or whatever? Or is this like gonna be additional on top of what we discussed?
I think this would be reasonable for what is owed. It will, however, mark the slate clean.
That is like completely fair. And do you like know of any like good property around here or whatever? Like, do you have like a place maybe I could sort of like hold up and like where your domain is or on that side?
Are you looking to permanently relocate?
Well, I don't know if you like heard or whatever, but Los Angeles is kind of like a shit show. So, I'm definitely thinking I'll stay around here for a while. Maybe not like permanently, but like a while.
It would be unusual to divvy out parcels of my domain to those not of my blood. That said, I could be persuaded, but in this instance, I feel it would be prudent that you will owe me a favor down the road. I
She sort
think
of plays around the rim of a glass of a drink that she'd ordered, which she's not touching, but she is listening.
And Nicolai does trail off for a moment because he is going to also take a moment to kind of survey the room. One, now knowing what he knows from what Jezebel said, that she is likely a targeted blank body at this point. Just seeing if there's anything peculiar about any behavior in the environment.
You can make a wits and awareness roll for me.
All right. That's going to be 2 successes.
2 successes. You scan the room, being as nonchalant as you can in the situation. And there are people here enjoying drinks. You notice that there are potentially some higher class, or at least looking for higher paying clientele, workers of the evening that you pick out. And other than that, there doesn't seem to be any undue attention that is being given to you that you can be aware of at this point.
I think a minor boon should suffice in this particular instance.
I think that's probably fair.
Very good.
So when would we be doing this kind of thing?
Well, I imagine at this point, if you're a direct target, and to be clear, the situation in LA is not entirely exclusive to LA. We certainly have our own issues here in NOLA. It would be prudent to see this done quickly. Now, depending upon your specifications and what exactly you have in mind out of this, will determine how long the whole process will potentially take. It could be as quick as a few hours. It may stretch over a few evenings.
Well, I did have 1 or 2 thoughts. Do you have Pinterest, or do I need to give you a folder or something?
Photos would be good.
All right, then it's gonna take me probably a night to just print all that out.
Very good. Well, then let's plan to meet at the Eclipse tomorrow evening, say around 1 a.m.
I can do that, and I'll probably take off now, try and lay low and stuff. But yeah, I'll see you there.
Very good. I wish you the best of luck.
And she sort of nods and leaves, and she has her undrunk drink that is there on the table.
Nicolai waits around for a few minutes after Jezebel leaves and chews over the potential of this situation before standing and leaving his own untouched drink at the table.
Very good. And we transition forward in time to what is our present night. The Coterie has all gathered together, as it has been some time since everyone was able to discuss new matters potential requests that they might have and to decompress. It is a Saturday evening at the Eclipse Bar. Elijah, is anything special happening tonight for the Kine and other attendees that might be enjoying themselves at the eclipse?
I think it's just a normal night.
All right. Everyone is busying themselves with drinks and enjoying themselves, and Grace is keeping an eye on both sections of the floors when she can, and all of you are gathered in the more private secret meeting room that is where the Elysium eclipse was held a while ago.
So, just so I know, does anyone else seems like their brain is being twisted in two?
Or,
Don't
I
know.
care for you. Stop
Still
looking
don't know
people
what
in the
you're
eyes.
talking
I don't know what's happening.
about. Around the club, they've been like this for a while.
I swear, it just feels like I can remember this, but then I remembered that at the exact same time. It's like both of these things could not have happened. It feels weird, and yet when I tell this to anyone, no one seems to understand what I'm going through. And I don't understand what could have happened. It happened when we woke up Ricky. That's when I remember I started noticing these things.
Maybe you're just spending too much time in the swamp.
It could be drugs. I've done drugs before. They're like that.
As you can see, I am on the road to Galconda.
So no drugs in Gokanda?
Sounds like a hippie journey to me.
Sounds boring.
You know what? You may have a point there. I may need to investigate to see if there is some type of journey I need to take. But outside of that, I'm pretty sure it is not induced by extracurricular activities. I am pretty sure.
Are there any funny mushrooms around or anything? Or
Fall down a rabbit hole.
There's a lot in the swamp.
Sakura, was there any mushrooms in your place through that time frame?
I mean, not that I know of. It doesn't mean there weren't.
Well, maybe
there's also a garden outside, so like you gotta be more specific.
I knew it. Okay. No, I don't think it's. We'll see. I will get down to the bottom of this, and then I will have an answer to you all. Right now, things just seem very fishy.
That you're the only one who's asking. Got it.
Why do you put it that way? You make it seem like okay. Anybody else have anything going on?
Well, if for those who didn't know, Ricky is awake. He's been doing good.
Yes,
well, that's good.
The Savage is also on a glow up. You know, we got little resources coming through. So we have some guards to make sure that it's nicely secured. I now have a new house, a new haven in the Savage. So, you know, things are looking on the up and up. So if you ever decided to want to take a visit to my new establishment, my new home, you know, come on by. It'd be a great time. As they notice, everyone giving the most awkward faces. Like something tells me.
I'm not gonna say it.
Well, I'm telling you, it's going to be a good time. I'm telling you, it's going to. No, not that. Okay, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be a good time.
You know what I'm thinking. That's why I'm not talking.
Thank you. I appreciate that self-restraint.
We'll say it eventually. Snap.
Elijah goes to say something snarky and then just takes a sip out of whatever he's drinking.
While
Um,
everyone is gathered here, let's take care of just a little bit of housekeeping. Would everyone make their rouse check for this
oh
evening?
yeah.
I don't think I passed the rouse check this entire season.
Always getting hungrier.
Negative thinking. That's why.
Pass my rouse check.
Nicolai is fine for this evening.
Elijah's happy at Hunger 2 because he's been Hunger 2 for a bit.
It's what? CC7, right? I forgot.
6 and
6?
above would be
Oh, okay.
a
Well, I made it then.
success.
Mhm.
Got a 6. Right on the line.
Oh, and Sora would take out one of the cards that they receive from Maria and then kind of flip it through their fingers gently before sliding it over to Nicolai, Andre. It says, by the way, we're doing a bit of a spy work. If you ever need to get a contact, hand it over to them.
Tread very carefully with them, Sora.
I started to notice that during the conversation. She has a way with words, which is very interesting. This is new territory for me, so.
They would likely be very intrigued if they knew what you were.
I didn't think of that.
Let's look at it as not the same as the Tremere, but equally bad in its own way.
Well, thank you for that appropriation. I would definitely keep that in mind if I decide to pursue that forward. Sadly, I already have stepped off that boat, and she has contributed greatly to the glow up that we have with the Sabbat. So, but at the same time, this was primarily, for your benefit in case you needed to do things that were out in the open.
Just take care of yourself. I'm more concerned about your situation with them.
Yes, I didn't think about that. Thank you. I appreciate that. I gotta step back. Like, being a slippery is rough.
Everybody has history with your kind. Everybody.
Good to know. Oh, and they look. That's exactly who they were about to turn to. Like, Mikaela, who was that guy you were walking out with, by the way?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Really? Really? That's what we're going with? I literally saw you walk outside of the the establishment with the guy.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Is this supposed to be like the two separate memories I'm having again?
Would you like to make a wits and insight roll?
Yes.
Sora?
Yes.
Mikaela, would you like to make a manipulation and subterfuge roll?
Sure. Let's do that.
You've been investing in that, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely,
like,
Toreador.
I have absolute 5 in that one. I have no problem with my rolls in that one. Subterfuge and what was it? Manipulation?
Yep.
Indeed.
Oh,
Get your lie on.
I had impeccable lies, by the way, just so you know.
Yes,
that's
that
like
does
5.
that does add an additional dice for your specialty.
Bonus
Mikaela lying?
Bonus die.
Never.
Never.
I have
She
that
would
same.
never lie.
Slanderous.
So Sora's a bit on paranoid mode because of this memory aspect. So they technically got 5 successes.
The slanderous
7.
accusations.
I'm actually counting my dice. I have 7.
7 dice? Wow.
7 dice, yeah. Oh, plus the one more, so it's 8 dice, right? Because
Yeah.
I have impeccable thing. All right, let
Well,
me just get
Mhm.
another.
good
Let me
luck
just
with
get
that.
another one. Give me one moment. I have to get another dice out.
All the
And
dice.
remember,
the
remember
dice.
to include your hunger dice in that, right? So you remove
Yep.
regular dice and include your hunger dice.
All right, let me roll this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay,
It makes sense.
that is 1, 2, 3. That's a crit. 4. That's another crit.
So that comes to 6 successes.
Mhm.
That's a pass, so that's 7. It's another pass, 8.
What?
And oh, it's a messy crit because my blood die is a crit.
A
Does that matter?
messy crit. It does indeed.
Right. All right,
It
because
does indeed.
I have 1 blood dice that is a 10, and I have 2 that is just normal dice. So that's 6, 7, about 8, I think. With a mess.
Mikaela,
Yes.
why is Sora all up in your business?
Sora.
What is their problem?
Sora. It is my own little world. I don't know what you're talking about, but I have never walked out of Elijah's bar with any man, woman, or child. Never.
They look towards the others, just like, did no one else see that?
What you
I
talking
don't
about?
know what you're talking about. I didn't see
Oh,
any
that's
else.
it. I'm gone. I'm getting something
I-
to drink.
I
I'm about to
was-
get some pineapple juice.
I'm
I
pretty
was-
sure Nicolai was occupied at the time.
I think it's funny that of how, like, if somebody did see it, they'll be like, "Did I actually see it?" That's how her lie works so well. It's like it gaslit everybody into thinking, "I don't think I actually saw that." That's how the lie worked.
I just rolled bad. I actually didn't see it.
I was just looking for some form of amusement. I wasn't paying attention to what all of you do. I'm not your babysitter.
So I don't know what you're talking about, man.
Ben's just sipping a drink and being entertained. He's enjoying the atmosphere.
This is why I don't under. Okay, sure. You did not leave with anyone.
Uh-huh.
You all okay?
Or are you okay? You seem a little out of it.
You know, I am pretty sure. I just, you know what? I think I know who may have an idea. And they'll bring out their cell phone and be like, Abraxas, something is going on. Can I ask a favor?
I didn't even answer the question.
I'm in the middle of complex quantum mechanical equations at this point in time, but I suppose I could spare a second for you, Master
Yes.
Sora.
Thank you. It's not something that has to do immediately, but perhaps could you set me up a meeting with Finn when you get the chance, just so we could be able to have a brief conversation? Because something is going on and I just can't figure out what.
Well, you see, Master Sora, at some time in every person's life, their body starts to undergo changes. You might feel that your emotions begin to take over you a little bit, and I've known quite a few people to become quite impulsive and reckless during these times. Is this what you are experiencing?
Does that come with memory adjustments?
I'm not sure how you organics work all the time, Master Sora. You would have to tell me.
Maybe it could be. Oh, well, we'll see. Maybe Finn. I have to get it. I think I just need a quick checkup just to make sure.
I will organize this with Master Finn and be with you as soon as he is able to respond.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So it's fine. Everything is nicely wrapped up. I will get down to the bottom of this. Don't you worry.
Bottom of what?
What are you talking about?
Oh, jeez.
You also
Mikaela,
blatantly didn't answer the question.
What was the question? Go ahead.
Mikaela, your phone does vibrate.
I look at it.
It is not an unknown number. It is a marked number in your phone. It is a message from James.
I read it. but making sure that Sora can't look. I'm just be like,
You know I have heightened senses, right? But it's okay.
what does the text say?
It says, "So have you broached the news to them yet? I'm planning on showing up next week. I've told you this."
A text back. Just give me a little bit of time. I didn't even know this was happening until a couple of nights ago. Give me some time to tell them that you're back.
You get a response back that says, "We've lost too much time already, Mikaela. It's time to stop all that and live." In the "live" is in quotation marks, a little bit.
2 nights. Give me 2 nights to personally tell everyone that you're back. Or actually just Cassie probably. I don't think anybody else cares. Oh, and I probably should apologize to Sora for lying to him. That's fine. This is all in text.
Yes, I know. I know. It's all in text. You get another response that says, "Are you planning on telling them everything? Or are you going to leave that up to me when I broach it at the next Elysium?"
Can I just... I probably will give them a little bit of a head start so that they're not shocked at the, at that meeting. But I'm gonna leave all the gritty details to you when you announce it. I'm just gonna tell the basics, basically.
All right.
See you soon, James.
He sends a couple of hearts back.
Mikaela does not reply because she's still like, can't believe he's back. And then she very obviously puts her phone in her pocket and looks straight at Sora.
Why are you looking at me?
I just think you're adorable.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Elijah looks between them and goes, "Whatever this is, I hate it," and gets up and walks away.
This is beautiful.
Nicolai and Quinn, I have a question for the both of you, as it has been some time, and this is just for my housekeeping purposes and or record keeping purposes. Have the both of you been spending time together doing and explaining certain facets of your condition, Nikolai, and perhaps working on experimenting?
Oh, absolutely. I've probably been dedicating a couple hours a night at this point into engaging with Quinn and checking in on the experiments and working through theorems.
Yeah, and Quinn didn't really have a whole lot else outside of, on his plate outside of, enjoying his the new facilities that he has access to do experiments, both, in blood alchemy and the thing with the other stuff, the
All right.
other stuff.
So for the purposes of this,
Experimenting
we
on
will...
Oreos. I need to find out what the white stuff really is.
What is that white stuff? You don't want to know.
Gosh.
I would like you, Quinn, to please make a roll of intelligence and science. I will ask you to make 3 rolls, and for Nikolai's assistance, for each roll you may add 2 dice. And actually we'll do this a little bit differently. Make that roll first, 1 roll like that, and then then tell me the score.
Okay.
Because the
Or how many successes?
second and third roll will be different. So just make one roll of intelligence and science, and add 2 dice for all the help that Nicolai's been giving you.
Okay, and what's it's 6 you said for the success, or
6 or higher on a dice indicates a success.
okay, I didn't know if it actually. All right, so let's see, 1, 2.
While he's working on that, that reminds me, since we're jumping back forward a few days, do you want me to make any checks for progress on Jezebel's transformation?
Sure.
Fair enough.
You need 2 10s for it to count as a crit, right?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Okay, so 6 successes then.
All right, 6 successes. Excellent. So the processes are beginning to make a bit of sense to you, at least from a scientific perspective, of how this might be possible. And you are beginning to put a few pieces together. The next 2 rolls that I will make, will ask you to make, will be intelligence and blood alchemy. And for each of those rolls, you may add 3 dice for the successes that you accrued in your initial investigations.
So the same amount of dice then.
Okay.
It gets offset because intelligence and science is 8, but intelligence and blood alchemy is 4. But now I had 3, so.
All right.
Number 1. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. 3 successes on the first roll.
Okay.
And then 1 more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 successes on the next roll.
7 successes in the next roll. All right. So, with Nicolai's assistance and your forays into blood alchemy, you are able to synthesize a alchemical potion to drink. You're not 100% sure of exactly what it will do. Not 100% sure. You are fairly certain that it will at least be able to break some form of blood bond. Whether this will work on the Viniculum is another thing entirely. And this is something that you have just recently completed. Do you feel you might have brought it with you on this night?
I mean, if it's something if it was some new thing like that I had developed and was excited about, then yeah, I'd probably want to bring it and show it to Nicolai. Although, given my reservations about its efficacy being powerful enough to work on what he's dealing with, Quinn would probably recommend. Well, we can get into it. Quinn would probably recommend testing it on a different subject first.
Why don't you play that out?
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, why am I just? I'm metaing everything, and then we could just have this conversation. I'm sorry, Nicolai. We're gonna have to have this conversation through an intermediary because I'm
meta. What?
Welcome to the metaverse.
By the way, real quick, that's 8 successes on flesh crafting Jezebel on the first attempt. It only takes 5 to mimic an appearance completely, so I would assume that I probably could have just hit whatever appearance that she was shooting for based off of the Instagrams, since I'm higher than mimicking people.
So it was a little bit challenging in the sense of it wasn't necessarily like living people actual photos that she had gotten you. She has gotten it in her mind that she wants to go for a sort of Psylocke look. So she has given you a lot of cartoons to sort of look at, and she's asked for a little bit of extra work in certain places, and um, if it's possible to make her a little bit taller. She's been asking for that. But 8 successes is probably more than enough to do what she asks for.
Perfect. I'll make a check later about making all of her identification shit.
Excellent.
All right.
So yeah, so I guess where am I meeting up with Nicolai at?
You are all there in the private room that overlooks the dance
okay.
floor at the Eclipse.
Gotcha. Okay, we're still on. Are we all just like jammed close together in there, or?
Nicolai's probably standing with Elijah right now.
Oh, okay. Well then, when Quinn notices Nicolai, he's gonna be like, "Oh, sweet, he's here. Let me go over and talk to me." Approach like, "Hey, Nicolai, you got a minute?"
Of course, Mr. Hamish. What's on your mind this evening?
I got something interesting. I've been we've been working on stuff, and I've developed something that I think you may be interested in. I don't know if it's quite what we're looking for yet, but it's very promising, and just want to talk to you about it. Maybe I don't know. A little more privacy. I don't know if that's possible around here.
Nicolai will look around the room, and I'm assuming it's just the Coterie that's in the private room right now, or are there any other kindred in the club right now?
It is just the coterie that is in the private room at this point in time.
And that damn Nosferatu in the corner.
Nosferatu in a corner notwithstanding, the ears in this room I'm comfortable with.
Okay. Well, I've got after everything that we've talked about and I've been able to learn, I have a little something here that I am not 100% sure because I haven't had a chance to test it yet, but pretty sure can be used to break blood bonds, though I'm not sure if it's strong enough to deal with your situation.
Interesting. You have it with you.
Yes.
Nicolai will reach out.
What does the concoction look like, Quinn?
It looks like a vial of blood, essentially. It's going to be probably a dark red color because we've been testing it and it's been getting exposed to oxygen. So, I'll just here check it out.
Nicolai will take it and look it over. I'm assuming that since it's been messed with, it probably doesn't flow with the exact consistency of blood, either thicker or thinner.
Yeah, it probably, well, to the naked human eye, it probably wouldn't look any different, but someone with a little more refined taste.
Very, very impressive, Mr. Hamish.
Yes, I believe there's still work to be done, but it's a good first step.
Well, he'll stick it into his suit pocket. I'll get some field testing done for you and report back my findings.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really have any firsthand subjects available to do, so that would be useful. That would be appreciated.
Not to worry.
We can get to cooking.
And Nicolai's going to wait for a moment and then kind of lean in and whisper into Elijah's ear. Are you going to need me this evening?
Why?
With these developments, I feel I should get an experiment together.
Do you need any help with the experiment?
How dirty do you want to get your hands?
You seem to think I'm afraid to dirty up.
Not so much, but
I need to talk to you anyhow. I
very
might
good.
need you to craft me a special piece of furniture.
Interesting. I haven't made an armoire in a while.
I was
Shall
thinking
we?
a
And
footstool.
Nikolai will extend his arm and offer to Elijah.
Completely taking it, just looking like a smug little cat.
And he'll take a quick look around the room and say, if you would all excuse us for a while, I have some important matters to attend to that have abruptly come up.
Oh, they're important, all right. Good to know.
Mikaela is quiet, but Glyza the player is thinking, "Bow chicka wow wow."
Sakura is frantically texting Elijah to get a room.
Where exactly are you intending to head?
So, after they get out of the eclipse, and once they've walked a distance enough that Nikolai's fairly confident there's no one in earshot around him. So tonight I'm thinking about breaking a few traditions.
At a risk to your position?
Only if it were to become public.
I mean, I'm not going to say anything.
I assumed as much.
So which ones are we breaking?
Are you sure you want to know?
I mean, I'd like to know at least how much trouble I might get into.
For clarification, for my own sake, how does Madeline end up treating the tradition of progeny?
Mm-hmm.
So, it is very much one of the things that she does uphold, in that she has enforced that people request permission. Thus far, permission has not been denied, and there is a bit of leeway in that if somebody sires without permission, they have roughly 3 weeks in order to present this new childer and sort of essentially explain why they didn't ask permission in the first place. But it is not that anyone has been executed for it, or any of the new childer have been executed for it yet.
Good to know.
It is one of those things where there's a bit of leeway, but Madeline has made it clear to everybody that we are under threat from the Second Inquisition, so let's try as much as possible not to increase our numbers too much at the moment.
Well, that'll be fine, because that's the second tradition that we're going to break. So, the third and the sixth, my dear Elijah, the third and the sixth.
Okay. Why?
Well,
Walk me through your mental process, because I'm 10 steps back and might be a little drunk.
Mr. Hamish didn't seem confident entirely in this new concoction, and with good reason. It's not a slight against his skills by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I've found him to be quite fluent with his craft. However,
What is the concoction for?
long-term goal to break the Valdery.
Okay.
Short-term potential goal, breaking a blood bond. Something a little weaker. Where he didn't seem very confident in that delivery that this would necessarily remedy my personal problem. However, he seemed at least moderately confident that it may render a bond in general inert. Now,
So you're
messing
going...
with the Vitae in this way seems like it might carry certain risks. And so...
So you don't want to just have me drink your blood and then me drink that thing?
Correct.
Oh, that's no fun.
In fact, what I think might be easier is, as I said, developing a progeny. They will begin already bonded to me, and I can reinforce that over the next few evenings, strengthen it as much as possible. Then we can see what exactly this concoction does, and after that, clean up the experiment.
That's fair.
Very good.
Oh, so I do have something to ask you. So I met with somebody from my domain. Evidently somebody's buying up property in my territory, and I kind of want to find out who they are and turn them into something that is very, very symbolic of the fact that I want to crush them.
I'm gonna make a check real quick, because I imagine at this point, with the Zimacy Bane being what it is, Nicolai's probably toxic as hell at this point. And so it's probably started viewing Elijah essentially as his property, which means he probably views that domain as his property, which means he feels his domain is potentially being encroached upon. So I'm going to see if Nicolai's going to flip out real quick.
Dragon hoarding is the thing.
A little bit. A little bit. At least I get a good amount of dice on this check. So it should
Honestly,
hopefully
Zamichi, from a certain perspective, make excellent coterie mates because they view you as theirs and they will protect you.
It's all about perspective, baby.
Mhm.
That's going to be 3 successes.
3 successes, and this is to resist your clan bane.
To resist flipping out. Flat
yes.
outright. I'm still going to deal with the situation. So it's not so much resisting the clan bane, but more resisting the beast a little bit at this point, viewing his own domain as being encroached upon by this action.
3 is an adequate amount of successes.
All right. Kind of.
I don't like the fact that your eye just twitched. That kind of unnerves me a bit.
It's absolutely fine.
Is it? Okay.
We'll deal with
let's
this.
handle your problem first, and we can handle my problem. I'm thinking a footstool.
We may be able to deal with them in tandem to some degree.
Perfect. This is great. It's great. Let's go.
And in fairness, while we're going, Nicolai's gonna just inquire after a little bit. So is this individual kindred, kind, something else?
Not sure. His name is Blue-Eyed something or other.
Let's go see if we can find this individual.
Jack, John, starts with a J. I don't know. One of the ladies in my territory, on the night of the fundraiser, we met up. She's very nice, very fun. I like her. And said that this guy was causing an issue. And you know how I don't like my stuff being messed with. I don't know if he's a kindred. I think he's human. I mean, maybe. I just don't like him in my space.
Let's go have a chat with this individual who knows who we're looking for. I think that we can maybe take care of two problems with one action. And Nicolai will lean in and give Elijah a kiss and then continue walking.
You're making this very hard for me tonight. Let's go. No, hands are dirty first. Let's go. Let's go before Sakura texts me anymore.
Reconvening back at the eclipse. It's been some time since the day of, shall we say, extended sunlight. And Quinn, an unfortunate incident happened with your lab tech, Trevor, which had incurred 2 stains on your humanity. Before we continue, I would like you to make a remorse roll, please. Roll 2 dice.
See how remorseful I am for Trevor. Or if I've forgotten it entirely. That's not the window I was going to. There we go. 2 5s, so not remorseful, I'm guessing.
When something inside you that had been connecting you a little bit more to your spark of humanity seems to have died. You don't even really remember the guy's name. You lose 1 point of humanity.
As we get closer to the beast.
Indeed. And aside from that, what are your plans here at the eclipse, everyone?
Well, I was going to make my way over to Sora, and just be like, I know you were having a hard time earlier. Do you know where I could get some of what you were using? It sounded pretty good.
So, just to clarify, I did not ingest a single thing into my system. I mean, for Pete's sake, I don't even drink alcohol. Why would I try, the ganja and everything else under the sun, So, I don't know what is truly happening, and that's why I'm going to get it investigated just to make sure. Why, if you're looking for that criteria, your best bet, just walk right out the door, and they point to where Elijah was walking out.
Oh, interesting. So, like, I don't know how it works with us with that stuff. I haven't tried it, but would we just do you just drink like spiked blood or something instead? Like,
presumably, I mean, again, I don't really have much experience in that area, but then you're a bit different from us. So, like, do you eat or drink? If so, you might be able to just go straight to the source.
No. Maybe somebody slipped a roofie in your last meal. That's what I think.
I don't eat. Hopefully one day, maybe. I read about it that someday you could be able to, as you reach closer to humanity, perhaps be able to intake on the fruits and beverages. And I think I see Elijah eat a couple of times, but it was just really interesting. Elijah enjoys everything, all different types of criteria. So it kind of makes sense that he could be able to both eat and drink. But no roofie for me. That's for sure. It's impossible.
Would you remember even if it did?
Unless somehow a panther or a rabbit or something like that somehow decided to partake in those delicacies, there's no way I can get spiked.
I don't know, man. Bunny rabbits be eating all sorts of whatever's in front of them. So.
Oh, that's true. They could have got into the wrong field. Oh, I didn't think about that.
Wrong neighborhood rabbit.
They would have went into the area where they're able to legally grow stuff. Oh, I need to keep an eye out where I get my rabbits. Okay, I forgot about that.
Okay.
Mm.
No, it was a harmless mistake. It wasn't even a mistake. It's just, rabbits are stupid sometimes. They're rabbits.
Well, I mean, yeah,
That's a science fact.
Yeah, I guess it takes. Yeah, you of course you would know it. They look at your coats in the club. So by the way, I hope things are going well for you. We haven't really spoke recently, and last I heard, I think your lab went into issues, right? Is that right?
Well, there was a bit of a mishap. For some reason, I don't know, it was weird. There was something going on. Like, I think somebody threw some bricks through some of the windows. A bunch of sunlight got in. I got woke up. It was a whole thing. I think there was a guy there with me. Can't remember his name. I think.
You have some enemies?
I mean, aside from the jerk aside from my absentee father, I don't know. Not that I'm aware of.
We may need to keep an eye out for that. Just to be able to say so. If you notice, things have slowly been starting to encroach on our coterie. I kind of feel like things are only going to get more dangerous as time progresses, especially with the bit of progress that we made. I mean, we have 2 barons, a harpy, and a primogen, and we all look relatively good. Something tells me that could create some envy and jealousy and other content along the way. And the fact that you said they throw some bricks through your window, you might mean to verify there's nothing too suspicious, just to be on the safe side.
Yeah, I figure it's just some jerk kids who, obviously don't know who's living there, right? Because
hopefully it's that.
It was just a bad time. I'm not staying there anymore. It was a mess. I've put it behind me.
Okay, well, if you ever run into any issues and you need to get to a place of safety, you're always welcome in the Savage. As mentioned, we have security guards and such.
Thank you so much, Sora.
Of course.
I keep that in mind. I've been working on some projects lately that have been keeping me. Well, I don't need to sleep really, so.
Like what?
Just science stuff. Probably bore you.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, well, clearly you must have just came from that. So, which reminds me, they look over to where Sakura is. It says, "How's things going with Ricky?" By the way,
he's doing good. He's a little out of it because he doesn't remember anything.
See, so I'm not the old.
No, not that. I mean, he doesn't remember when we rescued him.
What are you guys talking about? This is Mikaela dancing with Cassie.
And they're just dancing in the corner of the room.
In the corner of the room, just going.
Just the 4 of us in the room, and they're just dancing.
Yeah, that's what she's doing right now.
Would the four of you in the room kindly make me a wits and awareness roll, please?
Okay.
Of course. I definitely have high the perception up because I'm in full security guard mode.
All right.
This can't go poorly at all.
Of course, that's one of my better stats.
3 successes.
Okay.
3 successes.
That's a crit. Okay, I will take that.
When you said 2 successes or 3?
I had 3.
3, okay.
7 successes with a crit.
5 successes.
Right. Well,
security guard mode.
During your conversations and dancing and such, you are able to see out sort of onto the lower floor where everyone is assembled, and it actually does catch all of your eyes that a very tall man with long black hair that is sort of shaved to one side, that you will recognize as the Sheriff Gerard Baxter, does seem to have come in, and you catch him just because of his height. He is around 6'7", so he's quite tall, and you do catch him that he has come into the club, and that he is currently in discussion with Grace, and Grace seems to be, especially for yourself, Sora, and Mikaela as well. You do notice a bit more of Grace's position from where you are. She nods her head and sort of seems to be gesturing him towards an area where you would get up to the stairs to come into the private room.
So Sora notices that it says, well, Elijah and Nicolai, technically, they normally run the place. So who is usually on the third in command when they're gone?
I feel like that's me, but also really not me at the same time.
No, definitely not. They'll head over to the door.
The sheriff feels like a me problem, though. I feel like I'm the one who has to deal with that.
Oh, yes. You can enjoy that as part of the Camarilla.
And that one feels like a me issue.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'll leave that up to you. Bon appetit. And they'll just literally just open the door for the sheriff to come in and just gesture off to where Sakura is. It says, all yours.
Sakura will just sit down and just sort of like, okay.
Yeah, you are very kind, monsieur. It's been a long time since I've had somebody open the door for me.
My pleasure. And they just lean they just lean against the wall, arms crossed. And just curious about this.
I hope I'm not intruding. I actually have come looking for 2 members of Madeline's flock.
Were they here?
Well, I hope so. I'm talking to one now,
Oh, you meant that. I thought you meant, yes, hello.
I have.
Sorry, my brain's I've been a little occupied lately. What can I help you with?
I have a missive from our prince to deliver to yourself and Miss Mikaela as well.
That's very kind of you to deliver it personally.
Well, it is only part of the reason I'm here. I've also come to perhaps ask all of you, and as you know, he has come in and the door has been closed. How things are progressing on your front with our problem, the sunrise situation. Doing my due diligence, huh?
Yes, I've made some attempts. Some have gone awry, but we're making some progress, but not as much as I would like.
We are making a few attempts ourselves, eh? But it seems that for now, it is still information gathering, and we are preparing for whatever might come next. So,
What information have you gathered? I might be able to add to your knowledge.
Well, so far we know they went underground. As much as it is, we have managed to narrow down that does seem they have not left the city, at least. We managed to capture one of their agents, but it is something more than strange about these people. They seem to have an inbuilt mechanism which deters interrogation. If that makes sense.
I know it can be not so pleasant to come in contact with one of them physically.
I'm not sure this one was one of the more gifted individuals, but any attempts at trying to reconcile their beliefs with more valid ones resulted in the man's death of sorts. It seemed as if he suffered some sort of aneurysm.
That's concerning. You are aware that their base of operations is not in New Orleans, correct?
How do you mean?
Storyteller real quick. I couldn't find my note. I know I got the location from Rich. I cannot remember the city, and I could not find it in my notes.
So the location is sort of within the city limits. If you are thinking of the larger
that one.
connected structure that they are sort of connected to, that is in Denver. Okay. That is not just the Sunrise. That seems to be a base of various different organizations under the wing of the Second Inquisition.
They are getting a lot of their soldiers out of Denver, if I recall correctly.
It's interesting news.
I believe that's where they are getting the majority of their training from.
My sources tell me that Denver is a slightly larger problem than what we have here.
Well, it seems they're sharing their problem here.
This is good to know, huh? Well, unless you have anything for me tonight that I can maybe assist you with in my official capacities, I will take my leave.
And the same goes for you. If you need me, you have my information.
A bientôt. And he stands and takes his leave after handing a beautifully rolled letter to Sakura.
The second she leaves, her posture just like immediately unwinds. Like she was sitting so straight, and the second he's gone, she's just okay. People.
What's that about?
Let's find out.
Who?
Let's find out.
We gotta get you a back brace with it, cause my good lord, I mean that your back was like people, straight as a board.
Yeah, you gotta look professional with these people.
I mean, do you see how I dress? I mean, I think I am more fashionably gifted thanks to you and Elijah, but professional?
I'm also a toreador. I'm always looking good.
True. But as Harvey, as part of the official court, I have to be a little more presentable. And it's very stressful.
Well,
have to watch everything.
Yeah, I could see. You were on high alert. I was just like, okay, well, nothing's going to get by you during this conversation.
Yeah, no, I'm sure many things did. And she will read the letter.
All right. It is addressed to both yourself and Mikaela. It says, Mikaela and Sakura, my dearest Lilin, it has been some time since I have imparted my directive to Sakura. And the time is coming shortly where the results will need to be seen. Should all transpire in a way that is most pleasing to Mother, there is a special position that has been left unclaimed at court that might be befitting of either of my dear Lilin. I am in dire need of a seneschal, more than a harpy. Kind regards, Prince Madeline.
So something tells me.
Sakura is not hiding any of her facial expressions while reading this letter. Just for the record, everything is on her face. There was no reason to hide it in present company.
So something tells me with that the hand gracing the face like a Jean-Luc Picard that something is not going right in this circumstance. That Star Trek facepalm is well known across the internet. So what is actually taking place in that letter?
Question.
Consequences.
Question for me who have not played a lot of Vampire the Masquerade. What in the world is a seneschal?
Seneschal, it depends quite a lot upon city to city, but sometimes they are the right-hand person of the prince.
I see.
Sometimes they are more or less a glorified position at court that does not really do much. And sometimes, as is being pointed out in our chat here by one of our other Coterie members, the seneschal can end up becoming a scapegoat for anything that goes wrong for the prince.
Oh, dang it.
Also follows vice president rules where something happens to the prince. It's usually the seneschal who.
So you're essentially like the vice president of the United States.
Wait, Mikaela's not gonna go for it. Mikaela's gonna look at Sakura and be like, sounds like she wants you to be vice president.
Trap. It's a trap.
So what
Everything's a trap.
What does the letter actually say?
It says everything's a trap, and I'm scared is what it says.
Oh, well, you always have a place at the Anarchs, I guess.
Oh, that will not help me.
Well, what are you going to do? What do you need help? What is the task?
I don't think you can. Oh, you don't know. Oh,
No,
shit.
I don't know what's
forgot to
happening.
tell you. Okay, so basically, at Last Elysium, I was asked to do something, and I kind of said no.
And that something
But
is.
she still wants me to do it. So the Bahari have many practices.
Ooh.
One of which, and actually I'll just show you some stuff in the book sometimes. But
No, I'm okay. You can keep that book. That's perfectly fine. You can keep that.
I think anyway, different times. But one of the practices is often a Bahari will take their children into themselves.
You mean like through the ganja or somehow a different method?
Like super murder. But like the kindred super murder thing that we can do.
Why?
It's a Bahari thing. I don't know. But
and she's asking you to do this
for player clarification, as this is part of what your in-character reactions are. Obviously, completely on point. But for player clarification, if we remember, Madeline did not give exact specifics on what she meant. Just for player clarification.
I remember.
The directive was to take care of Ricky.
Yeah, so that's a Bahari thing. And I'm pretty sure, I will say she did not say that, but she didn't not say that, and that's usually louder with her.
So it's just like an incognito directive.
Yes and no.
Well, if this is a Bahari thing, and I'll be honest, no offense, I'm not touching the Bahari aspect with a 20-foot pole. You have a lot of other things to worry about.
Yeah, but yeah, and as you know, I only have one child.
Who you just woke up.
Just woke up, partially because of this, but not for that. I should clarify. I never think before I talk. I did not wake him up to do the super murder. I should clarify that.
It's good to know. I did not see you as someone who would suffice so high to a place of power, but then, I could have been wrong. So thank you for that clarification.
But I do have to take care of him. I have a few options. And the one I'm leaning to is either going to end the best or the very worst, with almost no in between.
Okay, if it's incognito, couldn't you technically just send him away to someplace safe? Don't you have like a sire?
No, that's one of the options, but it's also Madeline.
Perfect. Well, you could just use like, hey, you didn't say specifically what you requested for, so I tried to read between the lines that this was my interpretation.
See, I tried to get her to clarify, and she just distinctly wouldn't.
See, this is why you need contracts.
I think it's because she didn't want to say it out loud, but it's fairly certain what she was implying. But she also said we could leave it to Mother to decide. Which is a drastic option. Yes, the Dark Mother.
Who?
Lilith.
You've seen Lilith before?
Yeah.
Interesting. Would you think she would?
See, that's where it's tricky. That's where it gets tricky. Because she said Ricky was beautiful, but also it could. She can be. Her logic can be a bit hard to follow sometimes. And so finding him beautiful may not be enough to save him from her.
So beautiful in terms of like you're a tasty ribeye steak. Okay.
No, well, maybe. Yeah, no, maybe.
Okay. In that case, I think your best bet, my recommendation, and they're going to look around, make sure there's still nobody's in the room and such. There says, you could play the vagueness of her statement to your advantage. You could just essentially state, there was no contract presented that says I, Sakura, must truly and fully eat my child without no other options available. There was nothing presented, and you never signed on the
Why you gotta say it like that, Sora?
I'm just saying that was not presented. So you have some wiggle room to utilize that.
But do you know how helpful it would be to have one of us as Seneschal of New Orleans?
Well, I mean, but do you want to chow down Ricky to do so?
Oh, no, I'm not doing that, but I mean the third option. Keep up.
I must have missed that. Mikaela, you have an idea?
Maybe. But I have to tell you guys something first.
Okay.
Oh, this is a place of secrets. Okay, I like this. And they take a seat, they cross their legs, and they just cross their hands in front of their legs and just look at Mikaela.
So, I don't know if this is possible, but hey, Sakura.
Yes.
And Sora. Quinn, it doesn't really matter because you don't really know him. But so, James is back. And Sora, sorry I lied earlier about walking out with a person. I didn't mean to. I was just not ready to tell it in front of
He's back?
yeah.
So we
He
need to
didn't
watch. We need to watch a movie called Friday. There's a specific line that says you don't have to lie, Craig. It's perfectly full for
All
this
right,
statement.
Sora, you have to
Mhm.
understand. I'm not ready to just tell Elijah and Nicolai that he's back because he wants me to tell something more, and I'm not just ready to do that yet. And I'm not going to tell you guys yet what it is because I'm not ready yet, but maybe with James here, I could encourage him to.
So you want us to play decoy after you specifically lied to me
I
and
didn't
made
say
it seem.
decoy. What I said was maybe, we could just not become the vice president and I could just ask James to be the vice president. Would that work? Is that a thing that
Sakura is frantically texting her siblings to make sure her sire didn't follow him because their sires are fairly close.
they
And
are good friends?
her very first thought was, "Oh God, is she out here?" So
I
she is
think it's.
frantically texting her siblings to try and get a beat on where her sire is.
I don't think.
Sakura,
Ooh.
roll
Ooh, this is
roll a
juicy.
percentage dice for me, please.
This is juicy.
Hold on, right there.
Roll a percentage dice.
Okay, I hate this. Here we go.
I do not envy you.
It's a 7.
7%.
Yes. Oh
So
wait,
you rolled-
shit! You had to roll twice. 74.
74. Remind me of the name of your least favorite sibling.
Oh, it's Lily.
You get a message back from Lily that just says,
Shit.
"Ha."
Shit. Shit. Oh God, Lily probably knows what's happening too. God damn it.
It seems like you two are in a dilemma.
Oh,
I mean, I don't
my
think.
sire's Bahari.
Your sire's Bahari too?
Yes.
Is my sire Bahari?
Have you ever asked that question?
Probably not. I don't know. All these things. I don't know if mine is Bahari too, but maybe he is.
And Lily's definitely Bahari, and she said, "Ha! Oh, I'm so fucked."
Do they know that you have Ricky?
No, they don't know shit.
Well, you're not super screwed just yet. You just have to make sure they don't receive that information. Good luck with that though, because the prince knows about it. So.
Yeah. Mikaela, I'm very glad for you. I'm also very concerned for me. I should say that.
I don't know. I think he just came by himself.
I'm very happy for you. Don't let that go unnoticed. It's just little panic mode.
Okay, so
I don't
Sakura,
know if I will be happy or not happy, to be honest.
I
In
thought
one
you
hand,
wanted
I
them
am.
to come back.
I mean, on one hand, I'm very, very, very happy, but on the other hand, I'm a little bit concerned, just like a teeny tiny bit, like a teeny.
because he's going to reveal something you don't want to have revealed.
Sora, shh.
I just need the juices. I can't really help you unless you help me. Let me help you.
Was promised 2 days, and you will get 2 days.
2 days. Okay, so you want us to try to keep this individual, James, away from Elijah and Nicolai. Why specifically them two?
Well, not really away. That's the word. That's not. I just don't want them to know that he's back, and I can't explain why. There are feelings that I have that I can't explain for both Elijah and Nicolai and for James, and I can't explain it, and I don't want them to see each other, and I just don't. Quinn, what are you texting? Why are you texting so much?
What? I'm trying to. I was checking. I'm waiting on some lab results. Thank you very much.
Let me see your phone.
No, this is you can't read these. This is not your business. This is science stuff.
You're staring right at me while you're texting.
Was I?
And
Was I
don't
staring
like
right
it.
at you? So I'm like staring daggers at you, going.
So, well, there goes that. You might as well just. It seems like maybe some information. Well, okay, let's rewind.
Don't worry.
That was
it's fine. The science stuff is a success. We're just gonna go ahead and put it in the pocket that I don't have in here. Oh, it fell on the floor.
So you have feelings for Elijah, Nicolai, and James. It seems.
When you say it like that,
There's nothing wrong with that.
yes, sure, whatever.
So, one.
I don't even know if I have feelings for Elijah, or if the feelings that I have for Nicolai are the same as the feelings I have for Elijah, or if they're all the same with James too. Like, this is all very confusing. I just want them to stay away from each other.
I don't know if it will make you feel better or worse, but I think Elijah and James would get along. They're both old toreadors.
And I was just about to say, you should do the reverse. I mean, look at Elijah. I mean, I think Elijah would be like more the merrier. I'm just saying. I mean,
I do think that's accurate, to be fair.
Mhm.
I understand that, but I need to be sure first in my head.
That's
And
fair.
I haven't seen James in like.
Do they know that you like either of them?
No.
Are they?
Nobody knows. Only James knows that I like James, obviously, because he's my sire.
Fun fact, for the amount of people that Elijah hits on, he can't tell when he's being hit on.
That is also true, except I don't hit on him. I don't think so. I don't think I've ever hit on Elijah. Have I?
Wait, James is technically here. Yeah, so you're going to have to make a decision relatively quickly. Otherwise,
First of all,
I'm just saying.
I don't think I need to make a decision. I can just disappear real quick. It's fine.
Disappear.
Anyway.
Okay. Good to know.
That's not even the secret that I have to say that he wants me to say. Which I will say eventually, because I was promised 2 days. But not yet. Cool. But yes.
That seems pretty doable.
Since your sire is here, or I think maybe if your sire is here.
I hope not. God, I hope not.
They could beat the Senate, whatever.
No, God, no. Don't let her be the Seneschal.
I just don't want any of us to be the Seneschal.
I mean, I wouldn't say no.
I mean, you can have it. I don't want it.
I don't necessarily want it per se. It's like
it's too much attention on me, and I know as a Toreador I should love that, but
I don't know if I want
that.
anyone else to have it. It's more accurate.
You can have it.
I feel like we'd be safer if I had it. But
you can
also, I'd be in way more danger if I had it.
Do you have to give up your harpy role?
Yeah, but like it's better than harpy.
So it sounds like it's a promotional with a caveat that you need to digest Ricky. So it seems like your only option then is you're going to need to put Ricky into a FedEx box and send him overseas to Russia or something. Otherwise, you may have some problems.
Your problem solving is so out the window. Anyway,
it's different. Nobody would expect it.
There is a third option. I don't necessarily have to eat him or send him away, but third option is the riskiest, but also probably the safest.
What is our third option?
Is if I go talk to Mother.
That seems like a good plan.
Yeah,
do you need me to be there? I could postpone everything.
You're welcome to come, but like it also means you'd have to deal with Madeline. She's real scary.
So what if James appeared while Mikaela, you're on this trip to go see Mother?
I mean, to be fair, it's like
He
not
seems like a
uncommon.
fine guy. He'll be all right.
Hey, do you still want me to keep him away from Elijah and Nicolai?
Maybe.
So,
Mikaela, can I ask a small favor? Because I am internally panicking. Could you ask him if he brought her? Because I need to know.
I text James. Is Sakura Sire here with you too?
And we'll come back to that as we transition to Nicolai and Elijah. What is your plan? Where are you heading first, or who are you contacting?
Elijah's gonna go talk to Justine, I think her name was. Yeah,
Justine Fairfax.
yeah. He's text her being like, hey, just coming over so about the thing that you told me just to come by and just make sure I've got all the details straight, bringing a friend.
You get a phone call.
He just puts it on the, because he's driving, so he just like Bluetooth clicks it so it comes through the speakers.
Darling, my dear Baron, of course you can come over. The entire coterie has been eagerly anticipating meeting you. Shall we meet at the country club? It's to die for this time of evening.
That sounds perfect. Is there a private place there where we can talk? I'm bringing a friend to talk about our little problem we had that you brought up.
Oh, sweetheart, we can make the private place.
Perfect, perfect. See you in a few. I'm already on my way there.
Kisses. And she hangs up.
I think they're all Toreadors. I apologize in advance.
Nicolai
He's over
quickly
and pats him on the knee.
Nicolai quick texts a response back to Quinn, and uh, why do we ever leave them alone? The rest of them.
Yeah, because when we leave, we take the common sense with us. That's what happens. And I think we just need a babysitter. You know what? I'd tell Grace to babysit them, but I feel like I would lose my ghoul to insanity if that was the case.
You know, we left them in the club, right?
They burn my club down. I'm going to not care what Madeline says about anything, and I will seek revenge. That club took me like so much time and effort to get to look pretty, and those floors cost a fortune, and now you have me not wanting to do this.
Apparently, Gerard stopped by.
Ugh. What do you want? Oh, he didn't kill anybody in the club, did he?
I don't think so, based on this text, but
Oh, good.
I don't know. It seems to have really riled up Sakura.
Oh, she texted me. I read it. You just take my phone. Take my phone. Just handing his phone over because he's driving.
Nicolai kind of quick scrolls through the texts.
It's a lot of shit.
All right. This isn't my problem. He's gonna click the phone and hand it back to Elijah.
Thank you. All right, we're just gonna go talk to Justine in the Coterie. We'll figure out what the entire plan is. We'll make a plan for that guy. We might not get him tonight. And then we'll find somebody and we'll do this little experiment in my territory.
Well, hopefully it'll be with our friend. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, that's my worry, is that he might be too high. That's my worry.
Find out.
I mean, I'd love to do that, but like, I feel like that's a hassle I don't really need to deal with tonight. We'll see.
Works
Let's go.
work.
Let's drive. Focus on driving. Yes, he's just driving to the country club.
After some time, you arrive at the country club, and there are there are various appointed different bars and areas. It's actually quite nice inside. The golf course is honestly quite lovely, to be honest. And without too much delay, you do find Justine Fairfax, and she is elegantly dressed as always, with her set of pearls around her neck, and she is in animated conversation in a booth with two other people. There is the best way to describe this man would be as if a blonde Ken doll came to life with her. And then there is another woman with her who seems to be almost as loud as Justine herself. She has sort of a reddish hair that is sort of down to her shoulders, and she is dressed in sort of a dark green, very couture outfit. And they are enjoying themselves, and Justine does spot you and stands up and comes over to you and says, "My dear Baron," gives you the two kisses on the cheek. "Lovely to see you again. Honestly, I wasn't sure how well you'd be walking after the last evening we spent together, but that's another
My,
story entirely."
my darling, it is I am, if nothing, persistent. This is Nicolai Dietrich. I brought him with me to help with our little problem.
A pleasure.
The primogen of Clan Zamitzi, I understand. It is an honor.
The honor is all mine.
I am Justine Fairfax, and come, let me introduce you to everybody. Emile, darling, make some space at the table. And the man says, "Of course, Justine. Yes, I'll just move over here. Welcome. I am Emile Blanchard. It is a pleasure to meet both of you."
A pleasure to meet you guys. I've heard we have a little issue in this territory. Or
And the other woman pipes and she says, "Oh, yes, it's just absolutely dreadful. This blue eyed Jack coming in, buying up all the property. But honestly, it's almost right directly across the river from the golf course. That's where our home is. I'm sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I am Miss Devereaux, as they like to call me, but you can call me Louise."
well, we are here. I know I am a new baron in this territory, and I'm very keen to ensure that everybody is happy. And we can't have somebody terrorizing anybody in this territory, can we?
Of course not. We have sunk so much money into the properties across from the golf course that would be dreadful if they were all bought up and this man's plans to install another casino of all things in this area right across from the golf course. Dreadful.
Hold on 1 second. You mentioned a casino. I have to make a roll. We're good. Never mind. We're good. He does snarl a bit at the mention of a casino.
And
Elijah doesn't.
speaking of that casino, darling, Justine says, "Please tell me you have plans to do something with it. Honestly, it's quite the eyesore."
I mean, frankly, I find casinos a waste of time and money. I'd rather demolish it, but we can find somebody to refurbish the entire thing and make it look not as bad.
Refurbish, remodel, renovate, burn it to the ground, and build a new one is my advice to you.
That's always an option.
The insurance money alone would be worth it.
That's not a bad idea. So when did Jack come to town? What's our timeline?
When was it, darling? And this is Justine looks to Louise. She says, "Well, it's hard to say. I would say roughly 2 or 3 months ago, I imagine, at this stage. Began aggressively buying up property this shortly after our dear Donovan departed."
Do we know if he's one of ours or a person?
Well,
Can
it's the darndest thing, you see. We have sent some people to go take a look at him. Those that can go out during the day. But, well, apparently this blue-eyed Jack likes to hang out at some dingy jazz club near the waterfront somewhere. I don't understand it. He seems to have money. At least one would think he might have a modicum of class. But whenever people go in there and we send our agents back, they come back reporting that they didn't seem to be able to get in. At least they think they didn't seem to be able to get in.
Interesting. Well,
Nicolai
definitely.
pulls out his phone and starts tacking away, looking.
What are you looking for?
Going to be specifically putting in the name of the waterfront. I don't remember it off the top of my head here. And Jack, just to see if there's any news about any of the property buying that's been going on. I want to see if it's
Okay.
making any news circulation.
Let's see. What would I have you roll for that? We'll go for either intelligence and computers or it's not computers anymore, is it? It's
Technology.
technology. Either intelligence technology or intelligence and investigation. I'll give you this one.
All right.
So have those people you've sent come back and are all right in every way? No harm?
Well, as far as I can tell, yes. My man came back unharmed, although it seemed to have, I don't know, inconsistent memories when I probed into his little mind.
3 successes.
3 successes. Not specifically with the name Jack attached to it, but there have been you managed to dredge up that a lot of property has been bought up quite recently, just across from the golf course, as they have said. The street name, I shall give it to you in just a moment. I have it here. On Lake Providence Drive, a lot of the property more towards the southern end of Lake Providence Drive, across from the golf course, right on the river here. A lot of that southern block seems to have been completely bought up, as well as a number of properties leading down towards where the river sort of diverts left and right again. It's quite a number of acres that seem to have been bought up over the past 2 or 3 months, and yeah, it's a.
Is it all by like a single holding company, or is it look like is it strategically done so that it looks like it's multiple entities buying up the property?
Well, it does seem to be by a real estate company of all things
Interesting.
that
Well,
seems to have been buying up these areas.
while they continue talking, Nikolai will then switch gears to doing some looking up about this particular real estate company.
All right.
We have
Same roll for me, please.
inconsistent memories. Could be something ours can do, but I worry that it might be something else.
Well, darling, there are a number of others that make their home in New Orleans. From what we understand, at least what we've managed to piece together, this Jack does not seem to be native to Louisiana, at least. So, if he is connected to some of the others in the area, it might only be loosely, or perhaps they're unaware of him, although I find it doubtful.
Not native to Louisiana. Do you know where he might have came from?
And the man who, gosh, I'm forgetting my own NPC's name now. I made it earlier, but either way, Emil. Emil says, somewhere out of town is the best we have managed to get out of this. It seems as if a trail of finding this man's whereabouts are quite difficult. We know that he was definitely seen in New York at one stage, although we're not sure if he is from there. But then there's also reports of him showing up in Atlanta at some stage, and even as far north as Alaska and Juneau. Which is why I tend to think that either all these accounts of him being there are fabricated, or this man is a traveler of some sorts for some reason.
No. There are many that like to travel around, so I have a contact in New York I will reach out to. See if I can't see if she knows, but I do appreciate you bringing this to me. Outside of buying up property, he hasn't been causing any other troubles, has he?
Well, not yet, darling, but the thing is that, well, I find it doubtful that somebody would be able to buy our property out from under us, but, well, we're not the only wealthy people on the block, shall we say, that seem to have their property bought up from them, so who knows?
So how is he buying up property underneath you guys if you guys aren't selling?
That is the question.
Sounds like that's might be a state connection. And he does look over at a Nicolai. Eminent domain maybe, but that would be a court case.
4 successes on the current search.
4 successes in the current search. Well, it is a company that is known as Jefferson Real Estate. They seem to be nationwide. They seem to be a company that buys up holdings and then converts the land into other projects.
How long have they been around?
12 years.
Where were they founded?
They were founded in Colorado,
Colorado.
Denver specifically.
Nicolai, I'll go ahead and slide his phone over to Elijah with the information about the holding company up.
So start at least.
Doing it through this company. And based on what your associates here have been discussing, it does pan up with the purchases across the nation.
Question is why are they buying up real estate randomly, specifically here? You would think the French Quarter would be much more of a lucrative buy rather than over here.
This might be more fascinating than my original intents. I think this has become a side project.
So that's why I brought you along.
Give me a little time. I'm going to look for some patterns here. think
I
there's.
The
I suspect there's some underlying
well,
patterns.
the jazz club name that you have gotten that is located on the waterfront is called the Lady of the Bayou. And by all accounts, it is pretty much a very dive bar-y jazz club. Um, very rough and tumble, quite popular during Mardi Gras for tourists.
the place to start. I mean, I personally wouldn't go walk into it if this guy can mess with memories. But something to poke about. Denver. You remember what Sakura told us about Denver?
Indeed. Granted, that it's possible that it's coincidence, but I'd be fascinated to do a little more digging on some of the past acquisitions and various timings and where specifically they're located. I suspect there's going to be an underlying pattern here.
Well, since you three have brought this to my attention, and also the casino, would your coterie enjoy handling renovations for the casino? If you're anything like me, I know you guys would have a lovely touch with it.
The woman with the red hair who was invited as Louise says, "Oh, thank God. I was hoping you would ask.
Well,
I'll take care of everything. Don't you worry, my dear Baron."
that would be perfect. And I'm not much into casinos, so I think as long as everything's on the board, I wouldn't mind if you guys would run it and look after it, as I have no interest in casinos.
I'll see what I can do. I have a couple of investors lined up that could make good use of the place.
Could also give you a buffer in case he's eyeing your property. Because I hate to think there would be a scandal of somebody touching the property of somebody who's running a casino in the area.
Well played, dear Baron.
Well, I think we'll go look into this holding company. Maybe might have to involve the rest of the coterie eventually.
Well, darling, do make sure you stop by the house sometime. Here, let me give you the address. And Justine holds out her hand for your phone.
He'll hesitate to hand it over, but then like pull up a notes app and hand it over.
She just types it in. It is on that same road that I mentioned before. It is on Lake Providence Drive.
Well, I think we will stop in, and next time we meet, might have to come over and just visit and see how it looks.
I think you'll be delighted. Well, we won't keep you for much longer.
Oh no. Kolya, you ready?
Yes,
I believe we had
absolutely.
other plans tonight as well.
Nicolai's going to give a fast parse around the country club here. Are there other patrons here at the moment?
There are, indeed. Would you like to make a wits and awareness roll?
Sure.
He is
3 successes.
saving the address in his phone just to have
3
it.
successes?
Yeah.
No one in particular stands out. It seems as if there are a number of more wealthily dressed people that are enjoying themselves at the country club. It doesn't seem as if anyone has approached the booth that you are around. You get the impression that explicit instructions were given to keep a wide berth from this area. But no one that you
It's fine. I
know.
wasn't looking for anything suspicious, to be fair. All right. Gonna
Question: Who is like over the club or um the domain? I guess you're saying like, is one of the coteries in his territory specifically on the country club? Is that like in their domain? So if he was to hunt in it, it would be a little dodgy.
So you are now the baron of this area, and there was another coterie that was in the area that was primarily consisted of 3 Venture, which are no longer here. So currently, this is the only coterie that is in the area. The They said to meet here. This is basically across from a house that they have. I mean, it's across the river, sure. So you could infer that this is, I guess, their domain. But you are the Baron, and you are the one who can give domain or not.
I think Elijah specifically, because he's new to the area, would respect whatever the previous Baron had in place. Like if somebody had specific turf over here, he would respect that, just to not ruffle feathers with him being new.
They would be the country club overseers, shall we say?
You guys wouldn't mind if I had a little snack?
Of
Nicolai is
course not,
stepping away
darling.
from the table already at this point.
All right, thank you.
And
I wouldn't unmute there for a second.
Nicolai's
Help
going to head
yourself,
over
darling.
to the maitre d'
Mm-hmm.
and excuse me. As soon as they
Yes,
look
sir.
over and lock eyes with Nicolai, he's going to say, "That person's shift is over," and he's going to point to one of the busboys.
Devin, I think your time is up, but I have like at least another 3 hours. No, it's fine. You can go home. We're not that busy tonight.
Strange situation, Devin. Does that get his attention at all?
It does.
As soon as he locks eyes with me, walk out to the parking lot.
He begins doing so.
And going to follow behind him. And once we're out there, get in the car.
He complies.
And
And I
Nicolai's gonna
believe
get in.
that is an excellent place to pause our chronicle for this evening.
Look in the mirror, is that what you saw? You act like a diamond, you act like a star. You can't get your feelings to look at the sun, or see through the eyes of a human at all. Oh, that's when I told you that you sold yourself. clouds are raining, scarecrows ain't scaring, the music's reflecting nothing at all. Your lips are shaking, your skin